If you're using your 2003 to 2022 4Runner to its fullest extent, or even if you've just got a lot of miles on the clock, you might be in need of some new CV joints. This set of front CV axle shafts will give you full bolt-on replacements for both your front stock units for less than the price of just one axle from Toyota themselves, and it's going to get your rig driving like new in no time. On any four-wheel drive vehicle, the front axles and CV joints can really take a beating. Those axles and the joints are doing a lot of work, especially if you're using four-wheel drive a lot, if you've got a lift kit on there, or if you're just using your truck like a truck is meant to be used. And if your CV joints start to bind, you're going to have a hard time getting your truck moving or just getting power to the ground. Not to mention the absolutely horrible noises these things make when they go bad. What we have here is a fully matched set of new factory-style drive axles with pre-greased CV joints. These are made to be exact replacements for your factory bits, meaning that they bolt in with no modifications needed. They feature pre-lubricated joints plus new boots, and they come ready to mount right up on your 4Runner to get you rolling smoothly and safely again without any fuss. As you might expect, these are built to mimic the stuff that came on your rig from the factory. Made from the same type of materials as your factory components, you're going to find heat-treated ball tracks covered with brand new moly grease, encased by these brand new neoprene boots. And as you see them right here is how they come out of the box. So they are pre-assembled, and they even include new axle nuts. So it makes the job about as worry-free as something like this can get. We'll talk more about install though in a moment. Pricing comes in at about $375, making these a really affordable option. And it's going to save you tons versus the equivalent parts from Toyota, because just one axle from them is about the same price as this entire kit. So you're basically getting a buy one get one free sale, and you're getting the same type of components too. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 4 hours to complete. These are again a bolt-in replacement. They don't require you to make any modifications to the truck itself, though there is quite a bit of disassembly required in order to get these fitted. However, fret not, this is a job you can tackle at home given the right tools and enough time. And we're going to walk you through each step of the process right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
Tools required for this install include a couple different size impact guns, a hammer, rubber mallet, pry bar, ratchet, needle nose pliers, a chisel, an extension, 10mm Allen socket, 12, 17, 19, and 35 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing CV axles on our 4Runner, so let's get started. So first thing we're gonna do is hop underneath and remove the skid plate to get more access to our inner joint. So grab a 12mm socket, remove these two bolts and the two that are deeper in these holes up front. Let's pull that out. And get a good grip on it before you pull the last one out. Now there's one hook in the back holding it on, so just push up and backwards, pop that hook off. Next we're going to undo our brake line bracket as well as our sway bar end link. So grab a 12mm socket and remove the bolt holding your brake line bracket in. And then pull that out of the knuckle and just push it over to the side. And I'm going to throw my bolt back in that hole for now. And I'll switch to a 17mm socket and remove your sway bar end link nut. Next, we're gonna undo the nut on our tie rod end. Now there's usually a cotter pin in here, so take a pair of needle nose pliers and bend back the sides of it, push it through the other side. We're missing one, so we'll have to throw one there when we put this back together. Take a 19mm socket and pull that out. Next, we're gonna take a hammer and strike the knuckle here to break our ball joint free. Next we need to pop off this dust cap to get access to our axle nut. So I've got a chisel here and a hammer. I'm just going to get right in between that lip and try to work that out. Just work your way around. Now we're going to remove our cotter pin and this cover to get to our axle nut. Just grab your needle nose pliers and just bend these back straight. And grab it from the top and pull it out. Now grab a 35mm axle socket and remove your axle nut. Next, take a 19mm socket and remove the two bolts holding your lower ball joint cradle in, and then we can slide the knuckle out of the way and pop our axle out of our knuckle. I'm gonna take a rubber mallet just to hit on the axle to pop it out. hang that off to the side. So now we just need to pop our axle out of our diff. So we've got all these notches around our axle that we can get a pry bar on, and then I'm just gonna hit the other side of the pry bar with a hammer to pop this out. I've got a drain pan here to catch the fluid that we're gonna use. Now, if you're doing this on the ground with a jack and jack stands, you can jack up just the side that you're working on one at a time, and the angle of your diff here will prevent you from losing fluid, or at least minimize the amount of fluid you lose. You can spin this around as you hit and get it from different angles. All right, so now our axle's moving, so I'm gonna pop my drain pan underneath here and pull it from the other side. At this point, you can get a pry bar back there, just be careful of your seal. And then just maneuver this out through your suspension. So now we're ready to install our new axle. So we're just gonna get this into the differential, line up your splines, and then we'll just give it a good shove to pop it into place. So now once you have those splines lined up, just give it a shove from the other end. And now we're in and fully seated, so we can start putting everything back together. Now we're just gonna pull our knuckle back around and get that over our axle. Get those splines lined up, and then push that through. And we'll thread our axle nut on the other side, just hold everything in place. Next, we'll reinstall those two bolts through our lower ball joint cradle into the knuckle. Getting that first one lined up is gonna be your hardest part. And then do that same thing on the other side. And then once you have them both threading in smoothly, tighten it down with a 19mm socket. Next, we can reinstall our brake line bracket and sway bar end link. Put that bracket back in place, thread your bolt in, thread that nut onto your end link, and then take a 12mm socket to tighten down your brake line bracket, and a 17mm socket for your end link nut. Next, we're gonna reconnect our tie rod end. Slide that into place, thread that nut on, and take a 19mm socket to tighten it down. And now we have that hole lining up, so I'm gonna grab a cotter pin, slide it through. Now grab your cotter pin, slide it through the hole, and then we're gonna take a pair of needle nose pliers and just bend the two halves of our cotter pin. Now we'll come and take a 35mm axle socket to tighten down our axle nut. Now we can install our new cover that came in the kit. You want to make sure that your holes are lined up on both sides. And then slide that new cotter pin through. Take your needle nose pliers. Bend your cotter pin down into place. And then you can grab your cap here, get it lined up, and then take a rubber mallet and give it a good tap to seat it into place. Now, last thing we need to do is hop back to the driver's side and pull off our fill plug for our differential. So grab a 10mm Allen socket, break that free. And I'm just gonna slide my drain pan underneath, thread my plug the rest of the way out by hand. And then you're gonna need some 75W85 gear oil. And I'm just gonna squeeze this bag until it starts coming out of our fill hole, and then we can put our cap back on. Thread that in, and throw your ratchet on the back of your socket and snug it down. Now we can reinstall our skid plate. You wanna make sure that your hook is going into this hole. And then hook it on, and we'll reinstall our 4 bolts. Using a 12mm socket here to thread these in. And then you can go back and tighten them down. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the front CV axle shafts for your 2003 to 22 4Runner. Thank you for watching, and for all things 4Runner, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.